2021 was a pretty great year for anime. We got some great new series in the mix, alongside returning shows that remind us why we love it. And then there's X-Arm, which make us forget all of that. Now, I'm hardly the first to talk about this series and its, glory, but it still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. X-Arm was an anime adapted from a sci-fi manga series with the same name that ran from 2017 to 2019. The manga wasn't anything too crazy from the few panels I could find, and it even got cancelled in the middle of an arc supposedly. Damn, rip. The anime was created by a team that had never done an anime before, so I can't be too harsh on it. But it was still terrible. The first episode aired on January 11th of 2021 and finished airing March 29th, though most people probably didn't realize it even made it out of January because, well, this is what they were given. Yeah, not the best experience for the eyes. But hey, I'll be the first to say that looks don't mean everything, and an anime can still be good, even with a less than desirable art style. So, let's read the synopsis to see if the plot redeems itself. After being hit by a truck in the year 2014... I'm sorry. That's just the best way you can start off a synopsis. Akira Natsume awakes to find himself inside a machine following a 16-year-long coma. As he adjusts to the new interface, he is greeted by police officer Minami Uezono and her android partner Alma. The pair shows Akira that his brain is contained inside a device called an X-Arm, a weapon of mass destruction. Okay, not the worst, but well, let's just jump into the first episode. We open the show with this dude, and he's attacking Tokyo. Hey, he looks familiar. We then cut to our protagonist, Akira, sitting in a classroom, and his friends come up to show him a picture of some hot girls. Akira does this, and the picture gets all deformed. When I was watching this, I assumed it was the typical, oh, I'm scared of girls and tense up around them sort of thing. But, turns out, it's because he straight up has a phobia of technology. Yeah, being afraid of technology and being the protagonist of a sci-fi series, that couldn't possibly go wrong. Akira talks to his older brother, drawn in 2D for some reason, who tells him that he has to start being more courageous. One night, Akira is leaving a convenience store and decides to follow his brother's advice and goes to save this girl who is being assaulted. He courageously runs to save her and boom! Killed by a truck. We meet Alma and Minami, members of the Metropolitan Police Department, as the scene transitions, and yeah. They stole this titanium briefcase from these goobers, opened it up, and guess what it is? A metal brain. But it's Akira's brain. Yeah, I don't know. They get attacked by an X-Arm who can stop literally any attack with the powers from his special hand. After getting slapped around by Mr. X-Arm for a few minutes, Alma the android and Akira decide the only way they can take out this jackwagon is to have Akira access Alma's AI and take control of her body. You might be thinking, but what can Akira do that Alma wasn't already able to do? Why did they have to switch? Well, good thing you asked, because we're about to see Akira's true genius in action. After fighting for a few more minutes, they beat him by getting his hands stuck through the ship, and now he can't move or else he will phase underwater since their ship is in the ocean. Can't he just, like, phase his hand through the wall? Never mind. I'm just not gonna question this show. They say he can't shift backwards, but what? Anyway, they win, return to HQ, and call it a damn day. Whew. What a first episode. Akira's whole technophobia thing just doesn't make any sense in my opinion. They try to toy with the protagonist becomes the very thing they hate trope, but it just doesn't work in this context. I am a big fan of that trope, and Animanga have some fantastic examples of it. See, there's a big difference between having a phobia of something and hating something. If Eren Yeager, for example, had a phobia of Titans, he physically could not handle being a member of the Scout Regiment, but since he hates Titans, that drives him to annihilating them. You see what I mean? Another example. I personally hate spiders. No, not you. If one day I awoke and I myself was a spider, surrounded by nothing but spiders and spider-like things, I would lose my collective shit. Alright, so let's observe episode 2. The police chief, Shiga, tells Akira that their plan is to confiscate the remaining X-Arms that are being used for nefarious deeds. They learn of this suicide bomber that says he will bring divine judgment upon everyone in the town. He blows up, and then we see the head X-Arm who was controlling him. Sweet. They show us that same scene that we were shown at the very beginning of the show of not Akira, but definitely Akira, attacking Tokyo. Let me just pull away for a second. I think it's totally fine to have the main character be tied to some cataclysmic event that they were unaware of, but can we just, I don't know, not be shown that right off the rip as the audience? Like, geez, at least give us some level of credit for being able to predict. We see that this X-arm holder is the head of this cult, which, if it wasn't evident that this was a cult from the guy yelling, "I will bring divine judgment upon you all," well, then here you go. The members of the police notice this little girl and her brother in the street fighting off a robot, and Minami goes to help them. I only bring this up because this is one of my biggest complaints of the show. Look at these two characters. There is no way these two characters are from the same show. Why are the side characters in a completely different art style? Better question, why do the side characters look better than the main cast? We join back with Akira in HQ, where he decides he wants to formally join the Counter X-Arm Squad. This next part gets weird. So, apparently in order to unlock his full abilities, Akira needs to use Alma's body and possess Minami's genes. What exactly do they mean by Minami's genes, you may ask? Well, Alma and Minami just start straight up kissing. Whew. Well, that was something. Well, maybe that was as weird and as off-putting as this show's gonna get. Surely they won't include a lewd middle of the episode screen. They don't even give you enough time to process the sheer ridiculousness that the kiss carried before slapping you in the face with stupid fan service. And I thought Fire Force was bad for that. Anywho, enough with the stupid lewd stuff. Let's get back to the stupid sci-fi stuff. Akira's full abilities now allow him to control and take over various pieces of technology and use them perfectly to locate the X-Arm cult. You know, the kid who has a phobia of technology can use it perfectly. Yep. They find the cult's location and infiltrate, only to find them all dressed as the pseudo-KKK? What? The 2D girl they ran into before is in there and became a bomber for the X-Arm priest. During the big fight between them all, Minami confronts the 2D girl and has to kill her. Now, this was supposed to be a really emotional moment for Minami, but this is her expression the entire time. Also, the scene ends like 5 seconds later. The priest escaped in a helicopter, so the main group chases him in a helicopter as well. In order to get a better angle to grab the priest, Minami flies the helicopter upside down underneath the other helicopter, because screw physics, am I right? They search the rubble after the priest blows himself up, only to have no luck finding the X-arm he possessed. Shiga believes that someone went and stole it, prompting him to say, "So it's begun, an arms race." Honestly, props to you, Shiga. Top tier pun. 10 out of 10. Episodes 3 and 4 kind of bleed into each other, and they're the last ones I watched, so I'll talk about them both at the same time. So there's this new crazy bad guy dude named Jason Mraz. Not to be confused with the dude that sings "I'm Yours," Jason Mraz. Mraz carried out a genocide of people who opposed androids. What a guy. He has this android personal maid named Elmira who becomes important later. The police get ready to take the X-arm from Mraz, and what do they need to do to be fully prepared? Pucker up! Alma and Akira are fused for this whole scene, so I'll just refer to them as either Alma or Akira, whichever one. So Alma infiltrates Mraz's mansion to find a room full of heads? Presumably these are the heads of those that were killed in the genocide, which, jeez. Elmira comes in and attacks Alma using X-arm tech. Admittedly, this could have been a really cool fight. 2 advanced androids going toe-to-toe in a sci-fi series? That's what it's all about! Damn! We head on over to the other group of the police who were doing something. I honestly don't know what they were doing. And they get attacked by Elmira, who is now controlling a Bybot. Alma confronts her, and Akira attempts to hack into Elmira's mainframe, I guess? He keeps getting denied, but then he hears a voice of his brother telling him to push through until he eventually is shown an access permitted sign, which allows him to take full control over an advanced police robot called Ogre. You cannot make this up. So the scientist who was helping the police with their science stuff throughout the show is able to figure out how Elmira's X-arm powers work. Basically what it does is, well, Finral's spatial magic. It transports an object to a specific location. The scientist is able to locate where the drop-off location is and comes up with, honestly, not a bad plan. They wait until Elmira activates her ability to transport something, and once the portal opens, they fire a missile inside to bring it right back to Elmira. It doesn't destroy her, but it damages the Bybot pretty heavily, and we see basically the corpse of Mara. Weird. Akita has another flashback to, you guessed it, the Tokyo attack, and literally goes feral mode on Elmira. Does he defeat her with brute robo strength? No. He does what any reasonable person would do to take out a robot maid. He hacks into the UN's satellite system to knock Elmira's X-Arm GPS off course, causing all GPS and satellite-dependent tech in the world to stop working. I'm no tech wizard, but I think that would have far more ramifications than what was led on. Anyway, Mara officially dies, and Elmira is heartbroken. Clearly. So, yeah, that's basically all you need to know about X-Arm. I wish I could talk more about this series Actually, no, who am I kidding? I could not watch any more of this series. I know I'm a fraud reviewing it, only seeing 4 episodes, but I could only watch 4 episodes before I would have lost my sanity completely. I briefly checked out episode 5 just to see if they covered all of the ramifications from, knocking the satellites off course, and they didn't. Of course they didn't. In fact, episode 5 is basically a VR dream where the police department and Akita are all classmates in school. And yes, every episode from that point on has a lewd middle screen, at least the ones that I saw. I don't know if I can say that X-Arm was the worst thing that I have ever watched, but it's up there. If you watched and thoroughly enjoyed X-Arm, then I highly suggest you go get a COVID test, because I think you lost your sense of taste. With that, I give a goodbye salute to X-Arm and 2021 and hope that we get nothing like it in 2022.